everyone. I'm Rachel, as Eric said. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at the BID. And before we get into the meat of the presentation today, I'm here to just share some exciting news, perhaps exciting to me, that we, as the business park is in the process of evolving. We have been working very hard behind the scenes, the BID, along with many of you in this room, to rename the business park. So from here on out, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I heard you can't hear me back there, so I will try to speak louder. So from here on out, instead of referring to the business park as King of Prussia Business Park, we are now going to call it, Moore Park KOP. This is the business park, as Eric mentioned, is an area that is constantly changing. Currently, it's home to 20,000 employees, 63,000 square feet of corporate meeting and event space, 5 hotels, of course the casino, and 3.6 million square feet of commercial and industrial space. There are a number of notable companies, many of which you are all a part of, that are currently based in Moore Park KOP, and we expect that many more are to come. As Eric also mentioned, the revitalization of this area really kind of kicked it into high gear in September 2014 when Upper Marion Township, along with assistance from the BID, rezoned the area as a mixed-use district. At that point, King of Prussia District, working with our marketing firm Agile Cat, and working with a committee of current commercial and industrial property owners, tenants, employees, and civic leaders, was formed to create a new identity for this evolving neighborhood. And after a lot of hard work and discovery that you all were a part of, the name Moore Park KOP was selected for this neighborhood. The name is very much rooted in history, as it references the Moore Irwin House, the historic property in the center of the business park that served as quarters for General Muhlenberg during the 1777-1778 encampment at Valley Forge National Historical Park. And of course, the property that the business park, that Moore Park KOP sits on, was all part of the Moore estate. The tagline that was selected for Moore Park KOP is Aspire and Achieve, which reflects the very progressive nature of Moore Park KOP today. We are launching later today mooreparkkop.com, which will be the hub for all things Moore Park KOP. All the projects, the events, information about this project that we're talking about today, that will all live on this website. You can also sign up for information to be emailed to you, project updates and information about events coming in the area. We look forward to working with you to program events in Moore Park KOP that might add value to your life and to your employees' lives, and look forward to sharing all of that with you soon. We'll also be in touch with property owners to talk about ways that you might be able to hopefully incorporate Moore Park KOP into some of your leasing documents, into your collateral, so that we can start to really embrace this name and all use it. Until then, you will see us start to use it more, and forgive us if we slip up like I did today and say the business park when we mean Moore Park KOP. And with that, I'll turn things over to Chris.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Bosler. And as Rachel was mentioning, there's going to be a variety of new developments that take place in Moore Park KOP. We have the residential projects that are taking place on 750 Moore Road. So that's going to be 248 units that are under construction right now. And then on Vandenberg Boulevard, you have 320 residential units that are going to be opening up, we believe, this April. So there is a variety of new developments that's taking place. King of Prussia Industrial Park is no longer strictly industrial. It's no longer strictly office. It's an actual mixed-use area. And then also, it's going to be inviting to more entertainment venues, such as Bury the Hatchet, which is opened up already on 8th Street, I believe. and we encourage people to come out and play at that location. And then also you have service and retail that will be opening up within the business buildings themselves for that mixed-use quality. So with that new development, we needed to adjust the transportation infrastructure. The road diet itself has been something that's been getting studied for a few years now. The project team is involving, of course, King of Prussia District, Upper Marion Township. Ed O'Brien's not here yet, but he'll be here shortly. Also, Dan Gleason with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation is here. The project engineer is Brian Keaveney and Brian Finkelstein from Pannoni. They're right up here as well. We have Highway Materials, Inc., which is the contractor for this project. We have Sajad and George there sitting up front as well. And then the construction inspector is Remington and Burnick Engineers. They work for the township. And we have Ray and Tim that are up front as well. So at the end of the presentation, we'll hopefully open it up to questions, and all of this team will be able to answer the questions that you have at this time. So why the road diet? So there's a number of different benefits that take place with the road diet. You have traffic calming. Most roads that are 4 lanes have a much higher speed limit. So with reducing the lanes on a roadway, it will bring it back down to the 35-mile-per-hour posted speed limit that we have right now. The improved safety. Right now there's 4 lanes with a variety of contact points between pedestrians. There's no shoulders for bicyclists to ride along First Avenue. And then also the improved bicycle and pedestrian connections. There's going to be a variety of trails that will be coming up. They're in the design right now with creating more of a bicycle network throughout the area. And this project will help create a transportation corridor as well for bicyclists, also any other type of cyclists, as well as vehicles and pedestrians. The road diet, U.S. Department of Transportation has found that road diets can reduce traffic accidents by up to 29%. And it works well with roadways that have a 20,000 vehicle, daily vehicle trips, or 20,000 or less. Currently, when we did the study, the vehicle trips were around 12,000 per day. We're expecting with the study that when it was completed, we projected out to 2025, and that's projected to be 15,000. So we're still well underneath the 20,000 vehicle daily trips. So just as a brief recap of the history, 2011, the King of Prussia District applied for the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission Transportation and Community Development Initiative Grant to do a study on the road diet. In 2013, the road diet study was concluded. It was also including more road at the time. In 2014 is when Upper Marion Township and the King of Prussia District worked together to pass the mixed-use rezoning for the business park. And in 2015 is when King of Prussia District and Upper Marion Township were awarded a Transportation Alternatives Grant Program. Transportation Alternatives Program grant from the Highway Administration for $432,000 to implement this program. 2015 through 2017 went through the design and permitting review process, and then at the end of 2017, the project was put out to bid, and in 2018, that competitive bid was chosen for Highway Materials Inc. So, as I was saying, the project study originally was looking at First Avenue and Moore Road. This project, however, is only taking place on First Avenue. So, as you know, existing conditions, there's a variety of conditions along First Avenue. You have not only the 4-lane road, but you also have varying degrees of right-of-way, so sometimes there's a shoulder, sometimes it isn't. You also have long sections along First Avenue that don't have any sidewalks, and those sections that do have sidewalks are not ADA compliant. You also have limited pedestrian crossings. They're strictly limited to parts of the intersection, not all of the, not all four corners of each intersection. And the road diet is hoping to change that. So currently, with the 4-lane configuration, which you have as the illustration right there, it allows for greater speeds or encourages people to drive faster than the posted 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Also, you have people turning left from the left lane, which some people perceive as the passing lane, whenever you have multiple travel lanes. With the new lane configuration, what you will have is one travel lane that goes in either direction. You will also have a dedicated center left turn lane. That is where, particularly in the morning, you'll find most of the traffic backup is based on people turning left out of the inside lane. This will allow folks to pull out into the dedicated turn lane to make that left turn into each of the individual parcels. Also, there's going to be a 5-foot bike lane on either side, and the median or the shoulder itself will increase or decrease depending on the location. The actual design does not change the distance between the current set of curbs. So the current set of curbs will remain the same. It's just that the pavement markings will change. Also, we'll be having a mid-block crossing. This signalized crossing will be down between Radial and Trillion, crossing the road over between Michelmack and also Arkema. So that's where the mid-block crossing will take place. For a construction timeline, what you'll find is that noticeable construction won't start until actually late April, early May. There's still some PennDOT reviews that need to take place. The construction hours will not be taking place during rush hour traffic. So between 6 to 9 a.m. and 3 to 8 p.m., there will not be any construction activity taking place during the weekday. Construction is estimated to last 46 business days. That could be less. Again, it just depends on the actual time and also the weather conditions. And then everything is going to be wrapped up by the end of July. There will be, and Tim will be the person right here sitting up front. Tim, raise your hand if you could, please. So he's going to be the primary full-time construction inspector that will be on site whenever construction activities are taking place. So if you have an immediate question or concern on site, definitely talk to Tim. He will be able to help figure out what's taking place and address the situation. Ray, and we will be in contact with Ray, the construction inspection manager. Milling and paving roadway will not take place during the day, during the business workday. It will be at 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., and it's approximately going to be 6 days total. So milling and the paving will approximately take 6 days, and that's only going to be taking place at night, so you won't have to deal with the noise and the dust that'll be created by that activity. The contractor and construction inspector will keep traffic flowing safely, and we will, if you've signed up with Julie in the back, we will continue to send out regular updates on the progress of the project and also provide you with any additional information if there's anything that takes place that you need to make sure you're aware of. So with that, you will have this sheet that I believe has been handed out already to you, which has our contact information. This is just a brief one-sheeter. You can certainly contact me. That's my email address and phone number. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to get in touch with me. And then with that, we'll also be having all the information and updates placed on moreparkkop.com. So I encourage you to visit the website. And with that, we'll open it up for questions. So, anybody have any questions? Back there in the back row.
Are you planning on putting traffic lights up at businesses to alleviate what's sure to be significant congestion from workers trying to turn left onto First Avenue?
No, there's not going to be any traffic lights. Well, let me repeat the question. He was mentioning that people exiting the parking areas, asking if there's going to be traffic lights at those parking areas. There will not, but we anticipate that the traffic will not be impacted any more than it already is. You're going to be crossing fewer lanes in order to get into the travel lane. That'll be primarily between Moore Road and American Ave. And you will also be able to pull into the turn lane in order to merge into the travel lane if necessary. Yeah, do you have anything to add, you want?
Well, I think, Chris, you addressed it, but back when the study was evaluated, we did look at driveways up and down First Avenue, what those volumes were, and could they still be accommodated with the one lane? Obviously, it was a big concern at the study stage. And we're showing that traffic should still be able to access. There's still going to be gaps created by the signals at Moore Road and First and American Avenue. So that amount of volume should still be able to be handled in that one lane section.
When were those studies done?
2013?
'Cause I know that I'm in the CSL Bearing building, and that was not 100%, I don't think, at that time. I mean, it's jammed to the point where I think they're now building retrofitting the building over here at 500 because they run out of space. But, you know, so I don't know if it was a good gauge on the volume maybe exiting. But are you going to be condensing the roadway all the way up to Moore? So, for instance, if you are leaving CSL and making a right, that can back up pretty far, even with 2 lanes of traffic. So when you do get to the light, is it going to be still 2 lanes, or 4 lanes, I guess?
So when you get beyond the light, it will be 4 lanes. Just before the light, it will also be 4 lanes.
So like for 100 yards, or?
What do you know what the approximate, well, the actual location is here. So just past the top parking lot area
Yeah,
is
okay.
where the roadway opens back up to 4 lanes.
Okay.
So at the signal itself, you're going to have the same lane configuration you have today. So the impact's going to be as we don't have 2 lanes the entire stretch, and there'll be only 1 lane. You will have a little bit of a longer queue approaching that intersection, but we should still be able to process the same number of cars as we do today
And
through
then
that
as you go
intersection.
toward Gulf Road, is that
Towards Gulf Road, it'll be the same configuration as today.
4 lanes right now?
Yes, so
Okay.
the only road diet section that we're talking about is just east of Moore, or I would say north of Moore Road, if you want to call First Avenue
Yeah.
north-south, to just south of Allendale. So we'll go through the American intersection, but at either end, the lane configurations are still going to be as they are today.
Will truck traffic be affected in any way and access for trucks to the industrial buildings?
No, and thanks for pointing that out. One of the things I didn't mention was that with the road diet, most of the road diet is pavement markings. There won't be physical barriers. So particularly down on the, let's see, First Avenue end, it's going to open back up to 4 lanes, as Brian was saying, right here. I'm sorry, 2 lanes for turning at Allendale Road. But then closer to American Ave, where you have trucks going in and out of First Quality and GTI, that is strictly going to be pavement marking. So there's going to be the turn lane that's still there, but trucks will be able to maneuver over it in order to get into the parking lots or get out of the parking. Yes?
Is there any thought about changing anything about where the casino is, how people exit out of there onto First Avenue? Especially with there's a bus depot thing or a bus stop there, you cannot see to make a left or even a right if any traffic's coming down. I don't know if that bus stop is staying there.
It is, and I'm trying to think about the exact location that you're.
It's got advertising on it, which is I think what mainly
Oh, for
blocks the view.
Yeah, but as part of the linear park project, so you're talking about the bus stop that's on, the bus shelter that's on the casino side?
Yes.
Okay, so as part of the linear park project, which will be taking place next year, that information will also be placed on the Moore Park KOP website. That will also include new bus shelters that will have clear panels so that it'll be easier to see when people are there. But it will also open up, I don't know about the sign that the casino has, nothing's going to
No, I
change
don't think
about
it's
that.
that, but coming out of that casino is a nightmare when it's rush hour.
Right, right. This project won't be impacting that, unfortunately, but something we can certainly take a look at in the future. Yes?
On your drawing, I guess it was, where the crossing is, it looks like it's a pinch point there where the road narrows. Is that correct? Is that
Correct.
Well, yeah, what happens at that location is it will reflect the 3-lane section, but we will have, instead of just the pavement marking in the middle, there'll actually be an island, a concrete island that'll give pedestrians the ability to stop halfway if they need to.
What I'm getting at though, does the road narrow from the 10-foot width to
No.
8.5?
No, it's the same lane width and we'll have the same exact cross-section, meaning 2 lanes, the center lane, and then the 5-foot bike lanes. So it's the same 40-foot cross-section there.
Okay, but you're not narrowing because if you,
No,
that drawing actually
the
appears
the
that,
curb does come in there because there's excess shoulder there today on, just east or
but
just
your
north
new
and south
lane,
there.
your new lane markings, it's going to stay 10 foot through there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Which actually brings me to my second question is, people tend to drive the speed that the road is engineered for, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that actually going to be a more hazardous condition with these pinch point traffic points, having one lane actually going at the same speed perhaps that they are today?
No, I mean, I think the one lane should get you closer to the 35-mile-an-hour posted speed. Now, in off-peak conditions, you're still going to see speeds, I'm sure, well in excess of 35 miles per hour. But during the course of the day today, during rush hour or peak hours, I think you'll see more conformance or closer conformance to the posted speed limit there.
And last question is, what do you plan to do after the project's done to evaluate the effect on speed, cars, etc.?
Well, I don't think there's a formal program in place. I think, but there is the ability to.
Well, my question is, I mean, if
evaluate
it
queuing
creates a
and level
traffic
service.
mess and it's not slowing anybody down or anything, is there a chance it would be reevaluated, or you just live with the traffic mess?
We'll have to look at that
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, that's one of the issues with these road diets is, it's hard to experiment. You can't create an artificial one. You have to do it. You have to kind of go for it. But it has to be based on the right reasons. And here the right reasons are the fact that there are no pedestrian amenities. It is not a safe road. People drive well in excess of what the speed limit is, which is not safe for motorists just as much as it's not safe for pedestrians. And the fact that the very nature of the business park is going to change over time to be more of a mixed-use district that has a lot of residential too, you have to look at that all together. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. The other gentleman actually made the point that the traffic study of the number of cars was done in 2013.
but we did look out to 2025 though. So
Yeah.
But there's so many
projections
different
that were made.
variables that, with
Sure.
202 traffic and the development there and then all these apartment complexes, your daily trips are going to, have the potential to increase threefold for people in those apartment complexes.
It could, but not necessarily. And we're
Right.
also not looking at, will the train be built? And will it be operational in 2023, 2024? Will that reduce the number of trips? So there are a lot of variables, and we will have to monitor this for sure and make sure that it's working.
But that's what I'm getting at. Is there anything that you're going to monitor and report back to the community and to the business district that you serve about
We don't have
what
anything
this has done?
formally right now, as Brian pointed out, but I will make that pledge to you that after, a reasonable amount of time, it's that you gotta let the thing run its course. You gotta get people used to it. I don't know what a reasonable reval is for a project like this, a year after it's implemented or something.
I mean, I think as soon as 3 months, you're going to know if there's any, long-standing negative impacts that can or can't be addressed. I mean, we do have the ability to still refine traffic signal timings and add more time to First Avenue if we get more queuing than we're expecting. But I think, to add to what Eric's saying, we did try to be conservative in that 2025 projection. We did look at, traffic models of existing performance, what we expect the future performance to be with the lane configuration. And, the traffic mess is all relative in that terminology as to what you think it is, but we're not seeing in those models a significant decrease in performance at the key intersections. So, that's the most educated explanation I can give you at this point. But the fact remains, there will be some things that can be tweaked after the fact.
Yeah, and then,
And
can
we'll have
I
to
add
address
one more
that.
thing to that too, because then, there's like the engineering models and so, and then there's a reality. And I worked in this business park, so I was part of driving here. I know what the morning commute's like. I know what it's like in the afternoon. I know what it's like the afternoon exit commute. And I know what it's like at night and on weekends. I've been here all 7 of those days and all times of the day and night. Unfortunately, it's like a 22-hour great location where the traffic free flows, and then there's an hour in the morning, although the morning's less so because people do come in at staggered times, so it's a little bit less. And it's that killer 4:30 to 5:15 time. It's like a half an hour to 45 minutes, and we know it's bad. It's bad with or without a road diet. And is it going to add a few more seconds to your commute if you leave at 4:30? Probably. I am not going to sit here and say that it's not. It probably is. Because it's designed to slow down traffic, and it's designed to do a bunch of other things. But adding a little bit of volume, or not volume, but time onto your exit at that time is probably going to happen. Not in a dreamland or a fantasy world. That is going to happen. But, like Brian said, there are engineering solutions that could be made, but then there are also TDM, or transportation demand management issues that we have to address out here that we haven't done yet. And you have GVF right here in your business park. There are ways that we can work with businesses. As Rachel pointed out, there's 20,000 employees in this business park. It's a huge park. But there are a lot of escape routes out of here, right? It's not all North Gulf Road. There is Allendale, there's 23. We have the issue that's being exacerbated right now because of the work that they're doing up there, but once that all opens, that's going to open up a free flow of traffic up there too. So there's ways to get around. There are roads that probably should be connected that aren't connected, which force everybody to exit at one time, one place and not others. There is the idea or concept of staggered release times. Instead of everybody leaving their office at 4:30 or 5 p.m., some leave at 4, some leave at 5, some leave at 6. You'd be amazed at what that does to traffic, but we haven't formalized any kind of a plan for that in the business park. But our organization would like to work on that with the businesses. These are all things to come. But the road diet, as you can see, it took 7 years to get to this point because it was studied for many years, it was designed for many years, and then we worked with all of the stakeholders for many years, and not just commercial office owners. We worked with industrial property owners. Some of them are here today. We worked with the township residents, So we have to just look at it. But I'm not going to tell you it's not going to add to your traffic. It probably will add a little bit to your time at the end of the day. But we really only deal with that piece of time during the day. We'll have to remember that too.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Yeah, so Radial used to consist of a series of companies that were pedestrian connected in a way. There was 1075, there was 630 Allendale, in addition to what now is all consolidated as 935. So there is some benefit to, even if you're commuting by car, when you're going for meetings, there is an interconnectedness that flows, that, the lack of pedestrian sidewalks in certain portions of the avenue is acutely felt when you're trying to navigate that as part of your day-to-day. So I mean, and the crossing is another, when we have the concerts every summer, the Thursdays at noon, which are fantastic, there is protection at that intersection to allow people to cross, and that's recognizing the fact that it's not an easy span to traverse in the current conditions that the way they exist. The controlled intersection from Arkema and Radial, I think that the biggest improvement I look forward to personally.
Great, thanks. And we didn't even touch on the linear park, really, but that's another big project that Chris is working on. That's going to connect all of the property owners on First Avenue from North Gulf Road to Allendale Road with a wide sidewalk and lighting, benches, landscaping, and hopefully that will help that too, that interconnected nature of getting all these businesses together, reducing car trips because you don't have to drive to that building down the street, be able to walk and bike and other modes.
So you said the linear park work is